Good morning. It's a Friday morning. Check the volume, press the record button, and we're good to go. How are you this morning? I was looking through other live streams at about 8:30 this morning just to see, how I'm doing. Normally I'll get, this isn't good. I can't even see the chat. There we go. Normally I'll get, I don't know, 2 or 3 people on chat in the beginning. That's it. That's all. And then like over the next couple of days, people will kind of funnel in and watch live streams after I've already done them, which makes me laugh because I appreciate it, and it makes the chat kind of difficult. Part of me says I should change it to a show, the 1 hour show that if somebody wants to chat they can, and then do a live stream later. But it's hard. It's hard to me to do. I mean, if I did another live stream at night, I would have to do. Gosh, I don't even know. I don't even know. Like, would my research be able to take another live stream at night? It's hard. It's hard. It's hard to do. It's hard to commit. I mean, we only have so many hours in the day. I'm going to commit to another live stream at night when I'm half awake, and definitely not at my most sharp. But anyway, I was looking at the things that I'm being beaten by on YouTube for live streaming at 9 a.m. Replays of Monster Truck Jam had 145 views currently. So not new Monster Truck Jam. There's a lot of stuff from India that I couldn't read or understand. And, if there's any Indian folks that are going to be watching later today or down the road, I don't mean any offense. I'm just saying that it was in a language I didn't understand, and there was a lot of it. I believe it was Indian. Could have been Asian. I don't know. Couldn't read it. Let's see. There's somebody that got stock market live streams. Thousands of people watching that. And then there's me. A real estate broker, real estate agent out there in the live stream world. I can go over to Twitch. There's definitely a line in the sand between Twitch and YouTube. Twitch, it's kind of weird. Like, you can live stream on Twitch and you can live stream on YouTube, but don't do it at the same time. That's against the rules. And I don't know. It is what it is. So in my notes, I have that this is the 54th consecutive live stream. So 54 days in a row, I have live streamed. If you believe that you become an expert at something at 10,000 hours, I'm at 54. Google Stats, my viewing stats, same number of subscribers. My watch hours went up by 10 yesterday. The day before they'd been 0. And my impressions were 400, which is, it's not good. It's not good. When I get the chance, I do watch some other live streams, and sometimes they'll show the back end of Google, the Google YouTube console, and you'll see numbers in the millions, and then there's me. I'm in the hundreds, sometimes in the tens. So it's all about, the long path. Now, do I want to be a YouTube star? No. Do I want to be a YouTube commentator? I don't want to commentate on YouTube, but I do want to commentate on real estate news that I see and bring my unique perspective to it. And this leads us into our first large concept, large thoughts. Okay. I don't know how many of my viewers watch Rekieta Law. I advertised with them, or I advertised on his channel for a while because I felt like that was a very good mix of people that I would think would like my show. I don't know that it was very successful, but anyway, that was a long time ago. It was like in July or August. That was before he was banned for something in his chat. And that was before the Kyle Rittenhouse live stream, which massive success. Over 100,000 people watching at times. And they were watching a stream that may have been pulled from Law and Crime, which is apparently a network founded by Dan Abrams, who had Live PD, which was, I thought, the greatest show ever. That was like required watching. My wife and I would literally sit down in our basement and watch Live PD. We watched it. I don't know. Well, first of all, it was live. Second of all, you didn't know what was going to happen, right? What if somebody runs away? You know, I didn't watch it for the, oh, the police officer is such a great guy. My wife loved the police dogs, though. Oh my God, loved the police dogs. And during the Summer of Love, apparently the Live PD was not good enough for we're not allowed to watch that. That's bad. So they got thrown off the air, never come back, and date night for my wife and I stopped being about Live PD. Depressing. Anyway, that's Dan Abrams. I think he's got a show on TV or on Sirius or XM or the combination of both. Back in my day, they were two different satellite providers, radio. And then he has some other things. I think he's the ABC correspondent, chief legal correspondent. I don't know. The point is he has Law and Crime, and they have feeds of court proceedings. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I found Law Twitter on accident. Or Law Twitter. Law YouTube. I've found it to be very enlightening. It's strange, especially because you can. There's it's kind of like my business in real estate. It's kind of like there's people that are actually doing the real estate business daily, okay, and then there's people that are not doing the real estate business daily, but they're talking about it or they're writing about it. So you have these people that are writing about real estate and what the future of real estate holds, who don't practice real estate. And so what their views are, and that's kind of what my channel is kind of about, is like I read this stuff and I'm like, I don't think that's what's going on at all. That's not what I'm seeing. And it's to provide a counterbalance to what is being reported, not if it's spot on. I have no disagreement. So let's just take the idea that mortgage rates are rising. Well, I have nothing that indicates that that's not true. And how I use that information is okay. So if someone can afford a $500,000 house last month, if we run the numbers again under the new mortgage rates, can this person still afford this home? So I'm taking what has been reported as fact, using that to, help my buyers get in a situation where, hey, if we get an offer on a house accepted, we're not going to have to worry about getting thrown out of the deal. Plus, in an offer, you write down what the interest rate is that, and it's part of a financing contingency, unless you're going straight cash. You write the mortgage terms in the deal, and if they don't meet those terms, you're not required to purchase the house. So I see a lot of parallels between real estate YouTube, which I'm not a part of, in the sense, like, I don't go watching YouTube videos of real estate agents. I do see, well, sometimes if I hit the hashtags or something, I'll see like a bunch of other real estates on YouTube, and they do better than me. They do better than me. And then I'll see some people that have gotten kind of a critical mass, and they're able to be sponsored and perhaps persuaded to think a certain way. No one has reached out to me for a sponsorship. I'm telling you right now, sponsorship starts at $1 million. You put $1 million in my bank account, and I will consider your product. But me at 54 subscribers, average watch viewers of maybe 10 a day, probably not going to get that $1 million sponsorship. But if I did, I'd be pretty happy about that. My life would change significantly. Just $1 million, not asking for 10. Just give me $1 million. So, anyway, in this fight, the Rekieta law and crime network fight, I guess I could talk about it for the whole hour, but I'm not going to. We got a full show today, but let's really get into there's these themes. There's these themes present, and I wanted to talk about them to your ear, because I think it's important to go over these themes, and so that's what we'll do. So number one, I'm not going to number them off the top of my head because I'm not that good, and I'm not that good at speaking like I need to be. I'm getting better, but anyway, here we go. There's a question of whether or not law and crime even owns the copyrights on the streams that they're providing. And there's a larger question of should court proceedings be held in public? That is, should the public have the right to view court proceedings? They do, I believe, have the right to view them in state court. It is not in federal court, and it's not at the Supreme Court. I think these are all wrong. In 2022, I think we should have the ability to have televised court proceedings for every case in the United States. Now you say, well, John, what happens if you are tried? You are in the justice system. What about you? What happens? Wouldn't it be embarrassing if you were, sued or committed a crime or charged with a crime, and you had to go to court? Wouldn't you be embarrassed? Yeah, probably, because there's this idea that that where there's smoke, there's fire. So anytime you're ever, that's just how I was raised. It's not right. It's not right. We see people that are wrongly charged and wrongly accused and wrongly convicted. Okay, but the stigma is that if you ever have to be involved with the courts, then you've done something wrong. That's magnified by this idea of what I would say is, seating the constituents in a particular. If in a high-profile case, lawyers or prosecutors tend to taint the jury pool dramatically by their statements. Somehow that's okay. Now, I'm not a lawyer, not providing legal advice. I'm just saying to watch it unfold is really something. So, yeah, I think actually everything should be televised. Because if I am wrongly accused, who out there is going to find that? Like, will there be somebody out there outside of my family that can at least, you know, do something if they know of evidence, or if they have some sort of defense on my behalf that my defender, my lawyer doesn't know about or hasn't, So I would, if I ruled the earth, ruled the United States tomorrow, it would be as fast as tomorrow would be the ability to have every single court in the land be live streamed. And then there's no argument. I'd have the federal government. I'd have the federal government pay for their share, and I'd have the state government pay for their share. You must provide a live stream of all court proceedings in the United States. Done. It shouldn't even be up for debate, in my opinion, because of what I've said. So with the Rekieta thing, we don't know about the copyright if they own these things. But even if they don't, or even if they do, I think that it's still ridiculous. And why are we giving copyright exclusivity to one company over another in court proceedings? I mean, that's just weird. It's just weird. So, no on that. Number two, you get into the idea of fair use. And I struggle with this all the time. Not a lawyer, okay? I don't know if I believe my work is transformative from the articles that I read. My goal is to provide commentary on what I see in the marketplace versus what is being reported. And the only way I can do that is to provide context from the news source. Now, all I can say is I haven't been dinged yet for a copyright infringement. I don't want to be. If you're a small YouTuber, you're not making any money. Like, I don't make any money on this. I mean, I can trace my revenue to my YouTube channel and it's zero. Okay. And even if I am someday monetized, and the money's not that great for the level that I'll be at. So if somebody comes at me right now with a copyright, I mean, a big full-fledged cease and desist letter like Rekieta got, I'm done. I can't fight that. There's no way. And I don't want to. I don't want to be in an environment where I have to fight these things just to be on the platform. I don't think YouTube has tried to make it difficult in this space. They give you a ability to broadcast to millions of people, whereas this was not possible a decade ago, unless you knew the right people, unless you had the right equipment. But the theme right now for this would be number two is the powerful interest versus the small company or small channel or small person. Law and crime has their own general counsel. It means they can literally afford to have a lawyer work on their behalf within their company. I don't even have anybody on retainer. I wouldn't even know who to call. And I don't know anybody that would take my case because the amount of money I could pay for my defense is like zilch. So in the course of our human existence, in the course of the history of America, how many people have been crushed by the powerful? So it's definitely, Rekieta is not bringing in near the revenue that law and crime does. Okay? If they can crush a Rekieta, they can crush Deerwood Realty. And that would be a shame. Of course, we talk about fairness all the time, and nothing is fair. In business, if you can crush your opponent, do it. Rekieta's argument is he's not competing directly with law and crime. That his audience is a completely different audience than that of law and crime. And I tend to agree with him. But it's just me, and I'm on the outside. So we have the people versus the powerful. That's the theme that's in this. Another theme that I wanted to talk about was this idea of are the laws so far gone? Like, so is the historical precedent for the rules that we have, the laws that we have, stifling innovation, stifling growth, and causing issues? And I relate this to the National Association of Realtors fight with, any number of the DOJ. Everyone's gunning for the National Association of Realtors, and it's obvious. The rules that we're fighting over were put in place over 100 years ago. For what reason? Well, I think they were good reasons 100 years ago. Are those reasons still valid now? I don't know. Stare decisis in the court space. Whenever you see a hearing on a Supreme Court justice, you'll always see, well, what about stare decisis? At this point, it's the same answer. Doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican. Doesn't matter, what kind of justice you are. You say that it's wonderful and it's great. You basically lie your way right through the confirmation process. You don't give any information on courts, cases that may come across the bench. And people know, well, don't get me started. Anyway, this idea that the past rules are the most, sacred. Now, stare decisis is kind of funny because if it's some sort of cause that a group is behind, they'll change the rules easily. They'll change the precedent. They don't care. You watch what happens with some of these things going forward. So anyway, but my thing is has copyright law, gotten out of hand relative to the YouTube environment that we're in? So is it a dated thing? And the same with the National Association of Realtors and some of these laws that they're bound by. Should we make some changes proactively that protects our interests? Or should we let, everyone just pick at our carcass? So that's a theme. I mean, how many laws are relevant? And then a final theme that I find in this is there are companies that innovate and they know that they're in a regulated space, and they build themselves up to be so fast, and they build the revenue so fast that they're able to outrun the government's regulation. And I will submit to you that Tesla, in their model of dealerships, was one of those companies. I'm not criticizing any of these companies. I'm just saying that's what they did. PayPal, as far as financial regulation of banks, and Uber or Lyft with their work on undercutting the taxi cartel. They knew what they were doing. They all knew what they were doing. They all knew what the law was, and they all did everything. They all put their foot in a space to expand loopholes before regulators could shut them down. That's a model of business in the United States that is not, I wouldn't say it's new. So how does this relate to Rekieta? Well, when have you ever seen a panel that is not compensated by the network do live commentary on the trials of our times? Never seen anything like it. And to me, it's about controlling the narrative. Okay? There, I don't want to be conspiratorial, but there's this idea of institutional gatekeepers. Okay? So there's the data that is known by some but won't be disseminated to all. And I mean, if you go to any court case, before Rekieta, okay, you were watching people paid by a network, and you say, well, they weren't paid directly. They were given notoriety for their opinions about a court case that they may or may not have any expertise in. And so with that, perhaps when you're a network executive, you hire someone that is controversial. Okay, hire someone that looks a certain way, and by looks a certain way, I mean it's like a performance art. It's a costume, because that gets viewers, not because of any sort of legal expertise. Also, find someone that aligns with your own views if you're a network. And then you can see why Rekieta is in the spot that he's in, because he's 100% against the institutional narrative. I don't think by choice. I think I don't want to prejudice any sort of cases, but we've seen cases where they may think a certain way based on what they see, and the case still isn't decided in the way they thought it would be decided. But those are my themes. So this people versus the powerful, innovation being stifled, creating companies that go against regulation knowingly and try to be large enough so that they'll stop, and then the gated institutional narrative. That's what this whole thing is about to me. And so my own opinion is Rekieta's not dumb. Well, he's not dumb, and he is a lawyer, and you are fighting in a law space. Dan Abrams is a lawyer, but I don't know if he is like in this space now. I didn't get through the whole Rekieta thing. I don't have 3 hours right now, just busy. But he feels as though live streaming is like the new pirate radio. And I agree with him. Gosh. Did I listen to talk radio when I was younger? Oh my God. 590 The Fan. I think that was the one. Listen to Claiborne, Bob Ramsey. Those are the two that I remember. They had their show. I don't listen to talk radio, sports talk radio anymore, because I don't. St. Louis, the media in St. Louis lost a lot of the sports media, lost a lot of their cachet, a lot of their trust when they believed that the NFL was actually really going to keep the Rams in St. Louis, that they were going to, and so that they would preach to the listeners that the NFL has a process, and as long as we prove X, Y, and Z, they're not going to leave. They were all in on the institutional narrative that the Rams were putting out. And so for that, I have no use for them. And when they finally realized it was too late, it was like, well, let's just not talk about it anymore. So if it would have been Philadelphia, okay. If it would have been Philadelphia, the Rams would not have left St. Louis, because the media would not have allowed it. So that's where I'm at on that. I have other things today. I wrote my notes out, and then what I said was not with my notes, but it was with what I was thinking. So hopefully we're okay with that. The next thing I wanted to talk about was this is something I saw, and I'm not doing it off the cuff, but I didn't write too much about it, and that is rental rates are spiraling upwards. And let's just kind of go over the mechanics of that. So, say I buy a house today and I want to rent it out. Okay. Well, I'm in at 3%, and I've paid maybe $100,000 more than I would have 3 years ago for the house. To make the numbers work, I need to be able to rent it for a certain number. Okay. And as long as people out there are willing to pay that number, I'm good. Okay. Now, if I own this same house 10 years from now, God only knows what's going to happen in the marketplace. But let's assume that everything is the same. Property values increase, mortgage rates stay similar. You will be able to make more money 10 years from now per month because you'll be able to raise rents and your payment will be fixed on a 30-year note. As an investor, okay? Not controversial, right? Now, let's take you as someone who doesn't own a house. You're renting, okay? You are not under the same benefit as the person that holds the note. You are going to respond much quicker to changes in rent. In fact, your rent can change within a year, depending on the type of lease you sign, and hardly ever goes down. And so now you're paying more, and you may not know what you're doing 5 years from now, but you do know that you will be paying a higher rent always. Now, you may not get a cost of living increase at your work. You may not get a raise. You may not move higher. Might not be wage growth. Inflation is real. So you could very well be looking at a situation 5 years from now, not owning your own home, where you're paying a significant amount of your monthly income in rent. And you're not getting any equity for that. And so we have this, what I would say is a dilemma, where the economics to me are broken. And I'm not, we talked about this, the 10-year challenge yesterday from the National Association of Realtors. So the average age of a homeowner has increased by 2 years. The average price of a home has increased by like 30% in 3 years. Okay. These people, I don't want to say children, these college graduates, and you say, well, that's not fair to say college graduate versus high schooler. Let's just stay on the college graduates, and then we can move to the rest. These college graduates are graduating from school with a decent amount of debt. They are paying for cars that are also have gone up significantly in the past. I mean, I don't buy a new car right now. I mean, we're trying to get a used car for my wife, and it's not possible to pay the money that they want, to pay. But you're taking away the ability for a youngster to gain wealth at any point in their life and to be free from the shackles of debt. And that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. Can you imagine telling your child, hey, you're going to be in debt the rest of your life. You will always be paying someone else just for the privilege of being on this earth. Now, you say, well, that's not true. Some people make hundreds of thousands of dollars and they're not in debt and everything's perfect in their lives. Yes, that's absolutely. Is that the norm or is that the exception at this point? Will it get worse as we go on if we don't make some changes? Okay, well, John, what are those changes that you would make? Well, I don't know. It's difficult. All I can say is we're seeing something that's happening that I don't know that it's ever happened before. Say, well, we need to build more affordable housing. Well, when you say affordable housing, it's not the affordable housing that I'm thinking of. Okay. In two ways. One, if you say we need affordable housing and that number comes in at $200,000, okay, subsidized by being in a neighborhood of, $900,000 homes, it's weird. It's weird. And then if you say affordable housing in the terms of, well, we're going to give a house away at 0% interest and it's going to be a charitable endeavor, or we're going to build apartments complexes for homeless people, that's affordable housing. That's not what I'm talking about. You've made building so difficult in the United States. The NIMBYism, the not in my backyard, the environmental concerns. I don't think does anybody really want to hurt any animals at the cost of building a home? You want to take away their habitat? And let's talk about something that's would maybe be controversial, and that is, I live in St. Louis, Missouri. Okay, I live in Afton. There are parts of town where you could easily go in and bulldoze all the houses and build brand new ones. Okay, but we don't. And why don't we? You're not going to destroy an environment, okay, ecological environment in a major metropolitan area where the houses are not adequate for the people. So there's a lot. There's a lot there. But we have to be able, we have to defend the 30-year mortgage, fixed rate mortgage. It's stupid. Don't get me wrong. I don't know what I'm going to do in 30 years. Okay? I don't know that my life's going to be better in 30 years. What's the assumption that we're going to get more income in 30 years? There's none. It just doesn't make any sense. We don't have the same interest rates over 30 years. Okay? Nothing is the same over 30 years. But we're going to set a mortgage to that? Yeah, and here's the thing. So you have a job, okay? So, that's a reason to lend to somebody. Who knows what job they're going to have 30 years from now? So the economics are just screwy, okay? All I'm saying is look, if rent continues to go up, how are these people going to afford rent? And if they can't rent and they try to buy and they can't buy because it's out of their reach as well, because they don't fit the lending guidelines, you've got a whole population that's just in a bad state. Bad situation. And as someone who loves all people, I don't want to see people hurt. I want the best possible outcome for the most people. So that's where I'm at on that. Let's talk about Google Trends. Got to get over to the right article, and we're going to just go to this. It's the #1 article in Google yesterday. I thought it was interesting. Peloton, a halt production of its bikes, treadmills as demand wanes. So, first question to you. Did you know that Peloton had treadmills? I did not. I used to see all kinds of Peloton ads. Don't see them anymore. says Peloton is temporarily, these are the key points, temporarily halting production of its connected fitness products as consumer demand wanes and the company looks to control costs. The company said in a confidential presentation that demand for its connected fitness equipment has faced a significant reduction around the world due to proper price sensitivity and amplified competitor activity. Okay, so it says Peloton plans to pause bike production for 2 months. It already halted production of its more expensive Bike Plus in December and will do so until June. It won't manufacture its treadmill machine for 6 weeks, and it doesn't anticipate producing any Tread Plus machines in fiscal 2022. Peloton had previously halted Tread Plus production after a safety recall last year. It said that demand for its connected fitness equipment had faced a significant reduction around the world due to shoppers' price sensitivity and amplified competitor activity. Now, it says in a confidential presentation, and this was, I believe, according to internal documents obtained by CNBC, this would be grounds for Twitter to ban CNBC from the platform, but they won't. And their earnings are February 8th. So having this stuff hit now might keep the stock from getting trashed when they actually do have an earnings call. It says, this is, I guess, a thought, is that Peloton has essentially guessed wrong about how many people would be buying its products after so much demand was pulled forward during the pandemic. It's now left with thousands of cycles and treadmills sitting in warehouses or on cargo ships. It needs to reset its inventory levels. I don't know about this. That doesn't look good. It says the latest forecast doesn't take into account any impact to demand the company might see when it begins to charge customers an extra $250 in delivery and setup fees for its bike and another $350 for its tread beginning at the end of the month. Peloton said it had seen low email capture rates for upcoming debut of its $495 strength training product, which is codenamed Project Tiger. Email capture rates keep track of the number of people who enter their email addresses on Peloton's website to receive information on the product. The company said this is a signal of a more challenging post-COVID demand environment. The official launch of Guide in the U.S. was pushed from last October to next month and could now come as late as April. The presentation dated earlier this month said the company also said it planned to charge $595 for the bundle that includes one of Peloton's heart rate armbands and later dropped the price by $100. A little more than a year ago, Peloton was facing the exact opposite issue. It had too much demand and not nearly enough supply in December 2020 and announced a $420 million of acquisition of the exercise equipment maker Precor, giving it more than 625,000 square feet of production space. That deal closed early last year. Then last May, it said it would be spending another $400 million to build its first factory in the United States to speed up production of its cycles and treadmills. That facility in Ohio isn't expected to be up and running until 2023. This is a fascinating story. Peloton seemed to have a lot of success based on their ability to advertise. It says in recent months, though, gyms have reopened and consumers don't appear to be throwing as much money into at-home fitness equipment. At the end of its latest quarter, Peloton counted 2.49 million connected fitness subscribers. It only added 161 in the period. Analysts in recent weeks have been trimming their expectations, predicting that the Peloton had a weak holiday. So, was Peloton a darling of the COVID times? And now, I mean, I would say, I would argue that it was transformative technology. Where in the world could you have like someone recording workouts to work with you while you were riding your bike? Or I think that's what they were doing. Or were they had like, you could ride, the machine would be like you're riding in France. I don't think they have a program of me driving down or riding my bike down River to Pear, because they don't have that smell programmed in their machine. But anyway, I mean, business is challenging. Things change. It's just, it's a shame to see a company, eat it. Reminds me a lot of Crocs. I like Crocs. I own a pair. I'm wearing a pair right now. Mainly because they're comfortable. I don't really particularly like the style, but I think they're comfortable. I like to wear them with socks. Let's get to some houses. We got 3 houses. We're in Atlanta today, and we're gonna do not the middle one because it's new construction, but we're gonna do this house here, $9.8 million, listed by Atlanta Fine Homes Sotheby's International Realty. The third home is Coldwell Banker Realty, and the fourth home is Coldwell Banker Realty. Also the second one. So they're doing well down there. Let's look at the first one. I'm going to open a new tab. 9.875 million, 6 beds, 8.5 baths, 11,000 square feet on a 5-acre lot, essentially. 3-car garage built in 1941. Been on the market for 296 days. Let's just take a look and see if that's as long. Yeah. It was removed on the in April of last year. So 44 pictures, I think that's right. I like the pool in the back. This picture doesn't do much for me. That's pretty nice. Oh, I like that. Now we're inside. I prefer to be from this looking that way. Whatever. Okay. So what do we know already? We don't see any furniture. Okay. We don't see any furniture, and it has not been virtually staged. I hate carpet. I'm sure it'll change someday, but right now I'm just so anti-carpet. Ridiculous. That's nice. That pool has got a beautiful color. The pool house? I like it. I like the house. I don't like it at 10 million. I don't like it at 10 million. What does it say for the property details? Imagine owning this iconic Lewis Crook designed home sited majestically atop a beautiful 5-acre lot on arguably the most expensive stretch of estate scale real estate in Tuxedo Park. Rarely do opportunities like this come available, and once this one is purchased, it will not be available again for perhaps 30 years. Combining the elegance of the old with the Norman Askins updates of the previous 2 owners, this property is truly unsurpassed. Very livable floor plan centered around the walkout pool and gorgeous landscape grounds. Truly a forever home. Okay. This is 9.5 million. and not as a complaint, but it's a 7-bedroom, 8.5 bath, 21,000 square foot property on 1 acre. 100 pictures is way too many, though. I'm not looking at 100 pictures. 3-car garage built in 2010, 106 days on the market that we know about. We don't need to look at the monthly payment because we can't afford it. Sold in 2017. Listed as of 2020. Doesn't look like it's sold since then. It's now 2022. Property details, do I care? One of Buckhead's most exquisite homes. So it's situated on over an acre. It's Buckhead. My understanding is that's a great place. Let's just take a look at a few pictures. I mean, the pool is awesome. Got a Rolls Royce there. That's cool. The entrance is great. It's fantastic. I'm very good with this. This is how it should be. So which house are you buying? Are you buying the house with 10 acres or 1 acre? Well, how much is that 9 acres worth to you? We know it's in a different zip code. This house looks more updated because it was built in 2010. It's got an elevator. I mean, the bedroom is huge. I like the bedroom, by the way. I think that's neat. I don't like all that. I gotta be confused. Oh, I like the outdoor space. I do like a good outdoor. I'm a sucker for an outdoor space. I hope that's a gas fireplace because I don't want to have to find wood. All right. I liked it. I'd buy that house over this house. Let's look at this next one. It's new to realtor.com. 9.25 million. 6 beds, 7.5 baths. 15,007 acres. Sorry, that was dumb. 15,700 square feet on a 2-acre lot. I was trying to say that this is twice the acreage as this one. Let's take a look. It's been on the market for 6 days, 9-car garage, and built in 2015. Now, not as a complaint, but if you've noticed in Atlanta, they tend to put more pictures on their properties than they do in other places. I mean, we were at 50 pictures on, the same $1 million homes elsewhere in the country. Property history indicates that sold in 2017. So, and then it went for sale 2020. So they lived in it for 3 years. We're going to take a look at a few pictures and then we're going to head out because, and by the way, okay, so the first picture to me is I'd prefer the front of the place. Second picture is cool, but I'd again prefer like this kind of picture. I would prefer to not do the drone pictures until the end. It's an idea. I don't really want to go up a bunch of steps, but who am I? Like, I want to get inside. That didn't help me. So you come in and there's immediately a bunch of stairwells going up and down. It's fine. Not a very big, grand entrance. Beautiful kitchen. I mean, gorgeous. A wine cellar. Outdoor space. Really great outdoor space. I mean, that is awesome. My wife wants these chairs so bad. Egg chairs. I haven't gotten one for. I'm a bad husband. Look at that. It's nice. What do you think of that wallpaper or the painting? Kind of interesting. But I mean, like in this house, I'm totally turned around. I don't know where I'm going. And I'm at like 55 pictures. So it's nice, but again. Now, did this Deborah Johnson, did she have both listings? Let me just see, because if she does, good for her. She does. This woman has 2 multi-million-dollar listings. Good for her. Hope she sells both of them. All right. Check my chat. Got nothing. Keep going. 4 predictions for real estate in 2022. Okay. This is from Showing Time, purchased by Zillow. Didn't have to get regulatory approval. I don't know of any other showing solutions in the United States anymore, because Showing Time bought Showing Solutions. Anyway, here we go. The showing management marketplace will see exciting innovations. There's no doubt about it. 2021 marked a historic year for showing management, exemplified by the entrance of several new providers and services. Okay. While we can't speak for what others will be doing this year, we know that 22 will see the introduction of a host of Showing Time innovations, beginning with the highly anticipated release of the next generation Showing Time experience. Can I tell you my honest opinion? I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to it because I'm comfortable with our current setup. I don't feel like it needs any change. So that's concerning to me. Plus, I feel like Zillow at some point in time will take this Showing Solutions or Showing Time, and I think they will open it to the general public, and they will try to cut real estate agents out of the business. I believe that they've already tried to do that with their iBuying disaster and debacle, and I don't see any reason why they wouldn't try it. I don't care about agents. So with it, we're confident long-time Showing Time users and those new to the Showing Time system alike will greatly benefit from the streamlined new interface, the new and enhanced time-saving features, and the expanded mobile functionality it will offer. Again, not looking forward to it. Adoption of technology to automate more real estate tasks will jump to record numbers. If you're an industry veteran, your workflow today likely bears little resemblance to your workflow from only a few years ago. While the workflow of a real estate professional working in our inaugural year of 1999 would seem downright alien, given the consistent rapid evolution in our industry, our prediction that technology will only continue to have a more prominent role in real estate may not seem like a bold one, but is one that will nevertheless have significant implications throughout the year. Now, I told you, how do you recruit agents? It was really easy. There were 3 things. Training, tech, and leads. You see it everywhere. And here's training, tech, and leads. Now we're in tech. So here's what technology they think that will be used by agents is, say, call answering and message delivery, offer management, assessing office activity, and sharing timely market data. So, I mean, okay. And then it says, but the human element in real estate will remain as vital as ever. Sure, keep saying that, but you would get rid of us in a heartbeat if you could. Nowhere is the relationship better exemplified than with Showing Appointment Center, the leading appointment. Well, that's not different. The human element will remain as vital as ever. If you can get rid of it, you will. Non-traditional showings will become increasingly accepted by buyers and sellers alike. This is the one. This is their entrance. So they're going to have Showing Time live video. You know, I'm not doing it. I'm not a dinosaur, but I'm not doing it. I will not ever tell someone that it's a great idea to buy a house by not going and seeing it in person. I don't care how great the technology becomes. I don't care if we can put a house in the metaverse and you can walk through it. I'm just not doing it. Make me a bad person? Maybe. Now, if someone, like say there was a tech guy, a Bitcoin bro that wanted to buy a house, and what was working with me. And he's like, I just want to do it virtually, and it's okay if there's a bunch of stuff wrong with the house. I've got enough money that I don't care. I'll just fix it when I get in there. Don't worry about it, John. Just go find me a house that's, and show us some of the video, and I'll buy it. Okay. But for my normal families, even up to $1 million that live in St. Louis, we're going to go see the house in person, and maybe more than once before we put in an offer. That's all there is to it. I want my buyers to have the best possible chance to make the best possible decision on whatever home they want to purchase. That means going and looking at many homes and going from there. So that's where I'm going to leave it today. I don't know. What do you think? We had about a half hour of light discussion, and then we had a half hour of real estate stuff. I just wanted to bring that article to you because I think Showing Time is going to be walking a very, very tight line. Like, there are agents from that are maybe in their 70s that still are good and strong, and they're not going to put up with a lot of stuff. Plus, we have real estate boards all across it. And while I feel like they've failed us on many levels over the years, if they get something where they're angry about it, they will not be ones that are fun to be reckoned with. So that's my thoughts. It's Friday. My wife is leaving for the weekend. It's not great. I hope to show houses, but no one has set appointments yet. But that's where I'm at. I'll be here tomorrow, 9 o'clock. No question. And we will talk about real estate. We'll talk about what's going on in the world. We'll share it together. My goal is to beat the replays of the Monster Jam. If I could have 150 people in on the chat in the morning, I think I'd be okay with that. So that's where I'm at. Thank you for watching. Don't know what the podcast is going to be about today. Probably should get to work on that. I'll talk to you later.